predecessors. And the reason why that was so helpful is because, again, they're not just indoctrinating you with their particular dogma. They're wanting you to see and challenge all of your positions. And very, very few, all human religions don't do that. You know, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Jehovah's Witness, all they do, and Roman Catholicism, they just indoctrinate you with their dogma, and they say what we say is true, period. So that's kind of a big picture. And again, the thing that I found with Mormons, with all human religion, is that it's just, until that person is really ready to challenge their beliefs, it just doesn't do anything. Because they're not in a dialogue, they're in a monologue. In other words, everything they hear, they're kind of just reinterpreting it through their worldview, and they're not willing to really look into the depths of the arguments against what they believe. And until a person's at that juncture, they're never going to change.
Let me read
Plato, let me read this, let me read history and all the best arguments against this thing.
Well, I guess I want to ask. So in other words, what you're saying is they're sort of using their religion as like a filter, kind of.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, and all people, whether they're atheist or not, everybody uses their own. It's again, as Jesus says, the lamp of the body is the eye, and the eye is a metaphor for your perception. What your perception of reality is, how you perceive reality is who you are. And so everybody has their own perception, but as you know, there's only one real perception.
Yeah.
And that perception is seeing reality through the gospel of Christ. And until a person gets there, it just doesn't do anything. And that's one thing, again, that I do, is I just say, hey, until you're ready to really challenge what you believe, nothing's going to happen. This isn't going to be, I'll be your friend and stuff like that. I like you, a nice person, stuff like that, but I've been in your shoes and I've been there, and until I came to a place where I was willing to challenge everything.
Hey, Pastor Alex, just give me one more second, real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
No, I'm doing it today anyway. I already made that decision. Hello? Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
All right, so...
Anyway, hopefully that helps.
It does. You actually mentioned something that I also had a question for you about.
Sure.
This guy from Scotland, I guess he has an American number, so I'm supposed to call him tonight, and it's going to be on Google Hangout, like that we're actually talking. Um,
Uh-huh.
he's Eastern Orthodox, but I don't know anything about them. Like, I don't. I mean, I guess I. How do I say this? Like, what threw me off about him was he was saying that that the Calvinist is closer to a Roman Catholic than an Eastern Orthodox is.
Oh, gosh.
So I don't
Yeah, he
understand.
doesn't really, he's not educated. Probably, I know, there's a good friend of mine, if you've like met Ken and Jackie Gould.
Yeah, I have.
And Ken Gould, he was, he knows this Eastern Orthodox person that was kind of telling kind of stuff, standing over him and stuff like that. And I sent him this article from Horton. It's actually an online discussion. And Horton just nails it because he's, again, they're not prideful, but they're so completely educated deeply in all traditions. And it's not just because he got his PhD at Oxford, but because he's done his homework on everything.
Yeah.
But I'll try to look for that. Might take me a while, but there's. Oh, in fact, you know what?
Mhm.
The systematic theology book that you have.
Yeah.
Look up in the back under Eastern Orthodoxy,
Okay.
and just go over systematic theology, and eventually I got to get back to work now, but sometime later on I'll find that audio from Horton because he just nailed it. Eastern Orthodoxy generally is okay, but they have this real problem, and your friend saying that Calvinism, I mean, he's not educated. He has not done his homework. He heard something like we do in our modern age, and he just thinks it's true. He hasn't done his homework. That's like the stupidest thing he's ever said. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay. Well,
But they have this tendency, just real quickly, their biggest tendency is to go off of this early church father named Cyprian, and the term is theosis, and it's divinization. But as Cyprian talked about it, and it comes out of Peter. It's a quote that comes out of Peter. That's when Eastern Orthodoxy goes bad. It goes into the divinization of humans as if we become divine. But that's not what Cyprian said at all. It's when Peter talks about partakers in the divine nature. But anyway, that's where it goes bad. But I don't have time now to explain it all in depth.
okay.
So I can get back to work. But that is when Eastern Orthodoxy goes bad. It goes back into that kind of Platonistic divinization as if we actually become divine.
All right. Well, I'll have to look into
But
that.
again, Horton's audio is awesome because Horton, as most Reformed theologians like Calvin and others, they don't overstand. They don't just throw stuff out there, and they dialogue in a very humble, but also the same way Paul would. In other words, they're not going to back off from truth. And there's many Eastern Orthodox that are great, but there's a lot of Eastern Orthodox that goes really, really bad into theosis. But anyway, that audio that Horton, he just makes it so clear. This is great.
Well, if you have a chance, I can give you my email, and then when you have a chance, if you could send it to me.
Sure.
You ready for it, or?
Hold on just a second.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
It's FREE.
Was that F?
Yeah, free. Yeah, like it's the word free.
Okay, FREE. Okay.
Yeah, HOVIND, as in Ken Hovind's last name.
Okay, what was free and then HO? What was the next one?
V as in Victor.
Okay.
IND at AOL.com.
So it's free HOVIND at AOL.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you.
You got it, man.
I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Hey, have a good day.
You too, bye.
Bye.
All right. So this is being sent out to both the Mormon and the Eastern Orthodox that I'm going to be talking to. Hopefully you guys will look at this video. Hopefully you guys will look at this video and actually consider what I have to say about it and what my pastor says. And I will talk to you later. Peace. Sub, rate, and comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. Later.